going to the local groceries and seeing the price of your favorite good rising? What if I told you that the problem lies within our food distribution system and that it's possibly costing you taxpayers an additional cost in your standard of living? A more efficient system would probably use our resources while engaging our economic resources in a more stimulated situation. Most people are not concerned about our distribution system because they're not directly affected by hunger. But the distribution system affects all of us, both poor and wealthy. Everybody that participate in this market suffer negative externalities by the cost of everybody else that's involved. Meaning that what the company are doing affects you. If they're producing a lot of items at a lot of cost, that means they will charge you guys at a higher price. I've been quite interested with this topic for quite some time. And I had the opportunity to take many economic classes that went into further depth about this subject, encompassing all the areas of food distribution. The number one cause in world hunger today is food distribution. And improving the system would increase the labor force, reducing production costs, and increase the standard of living per capita. There are many consequences to an improperly run system, and I will begin to elaborate on how you are being affected. Everywhere on the planet experiences a different level of food scarcity, meaning that you're not the level of food that you have in your area is not the same as everybody else's. Not all land is equal, meaning that not all land produces the same amount of vegetation or has the same amount of wildlife. According to Lynn, economic growth inevitably influences the food chain. Distribution of edible resources may ultimately be the number one cause of world hunger today. Now, improving the system, we would have to understand and go further into depth with logistics. Logistics is pretty much the management of transferring resources from one location to another. Logistics comprise of the vehicles we use and the routes we choose to take. The vehicles we use are able to carry the amount of food we want and safely do that. And the routes we choose are either land, air, or sea. Now, the combination of both the vehicle and the route is what makes the distribution channel run smoothly. Now, many people would benefit from a system that runs more efficiently, where populations have a minimum of resources. They can boost their economies by increasing their labor force participants by having the population grow. There are more consequences to an inefficient system such as waste. When we deal with non-durable goods such as food, like milk, eggs, they expire, and our main goal is to get that product from one plate to another plate before reaching that expiration date. Like mentioned in the FWC speech, sources are limited, and that we have a limited supply, and our goal is to properly use those sources so that nothing goes to waste. According to a website, unep.org, the impact of food waste is not just financial. Environmentally, food waste leads to wasteful use of chemicals such as fertilizers, pesticides, more fuel for transportation, more rotting food, creates methane, the most powerful harmful greenhouse gas that contributes to climate change. Finally, I would inform you on how you're being affected financially. And operating at an inefficient rate costs U.S. taxpayers money because companies are not properly using these resources efficiently. According to Linda Godfrey, food waste is problematic for a number of reasons, including the loss of potentially valuable food source or resources used in the process. That is energy generated or composition. wasted resources and emission in the food supply, and problems associated with disposal of organic waste. Now, possible ways to improve our system is to invest. Investing in our communities, investing in our children, investing in our schools. When we take these resources that are being wasted, because nearly 50% of all resources produced every day is wasted. Now, with the resources we are able to have, we could give back to the consumer. As they pay more if they're paying more for food and supplies, then we should give them a larger quantity. Also, another alternative we could work on is involving in trade. Trading with our local neighbors, our neighbors from a neighboring country, where we could both stimulate one another's economy and also enjoying the specifics of what materials they have in their country and what we have in ours. I'll wrap up by saying, improving the food distribution is for the benefit of us all. When the marketing is operating inefficiently, we have populations starving, resources being wasted, while incurring costs on our living expenses. Let humanity come together so that we may solve a developing issue.